friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums, and today I have another spread video for you guys. Today we're going to be doing a deck interview spread. As someone that has a lot of different decks, and I like to use different ones for different things. I try to kind of utilize particular decks for certain aspects of my practice. I think it's nice to have a really great sort of deck interview in your back pocket. So whenever you feel ready to kind of connect a little bit deeper to a deck, you can have a little bit of a conversation with the deck instead of just immediately asking what you want to know regarding different elements of your own personal life. So this is going to be the deck interview by Thomas of the Hermit's Mirror. I love this deck interview. It is it's a 7-card spread, but while it does have quite a bit of cards to kind of get into, I like the questions posed. I like the addition of certain things to kind of keep in mind. I used to always do a pretty simple 4-card deck interview. So let's kind of see what this looks like. And again, I'm going to be using this Learning Tarot deck. I think it's great to have some moments where, especially if there's been a deck that you haven't been using for quite some time, to kind of grab it, maybe do another deck interview, see if that situation or connection to the deck has changed, and see if maybe it's better suited to do something else for you now, or will speak to you in a different tone. All right, so let's get into it. So the very first card is going to be, what major lesson are you here to help me learn? So here we have Justice reverse with this deck. For card number 2, hopefully it will fit on screen. I'm gonna end up having to move everything. Card number 2 is, through which divine energy can we best communicate? So here we have the 7 of Cups reversed. So we're gonna put you there. Card number 3, in what area can you aid me to help others? Here we have the 10 of Wands. Card number 4 is going to be, in what area could your guidance be easily misunderstood? So we have the Ace of Wands reversed. Man, a bunch of reverse cards here. All right, so card number 5 is, what can I do to keep our communication clear? We have the King of Wands reversed, and how can I use your guidance for the highest good? So here we have this 8 of Pentacles, and then card number 7 is, how will I know when we're ready for a new lesson? So this is card number 7, and I have the 4 of Swords reverse. So let's kind of get into how I would read this for this deck, and how I pulled these cards, and then hopefully that'll kind of give you a sample of how I would do this. Now again, there's a lot of reverse cards here. If you're someone that doesn't read reversals, you can flip them around. You can do whatever feels right for you and your personal practice. As for someone that doesn't mind reading reversals, I like to kind of see what's going on with this. So card number 1 is going to be, again, what major lesson are you here to help me learn? So here we have the Justice card reverse. So this is injustice, karmic retribution, dishonesty, corruption, lack of accountability, dishonesty, unfairness, karmic avoidance. So it seems like the intention of this deck is to maybe kind of get to the truth of things, to kind of help see past maybe some of the things that I have avoided within myself, maybe that other people may avoid. Since I usually use this as a sample reading kind of deck, or for educational purposes, I think that that's very true, because if you guys have watched any of my other tarot spread videos, and I use this deck so you guys can kind of follow along with me, it does kind of tattle on my own kind of stuff going on with me. So I do like that this deck has a little bit of a key phrase and says, I get what I give. So I think that this is kind of saying like, hey, you know, whatever you're putting in, that's what you'll get out. So if you're not going to be very intentional or honest, or, you know, not being accountable for certain things, then it's going to feel very much like it is a little bit harsher energy. All right, so card number 2 is going to be through which divine energy can we best communicate? And so here we have the 7 of Cups reverse. So this is all about reality, clarity, sobriety, poor choices, lack of choice, opportunities or options. Now, the 7 of Cups is typically a card of like choices and illusions, like not really seeing things quite so clearly, wishful thinking. And so this is kind of saying like, hey, we're just sorry. Like, I'm not going to let you be too focused on like what can possibly happen and things like that. This is, again, going to be very real with you, very clear. It may not always feel very warm and fuzzy. So it is very much one of those decks with me, which I think is funny. It kind of tends to call me out. So card number 3 is going to be this one. And this is going to be, in what area can you aid me to help others? And so this is the 10 of Wands, which is a card of burdens, overstress, problems, weight on your shoulders, obligation, being saddled down by things, feeling restricted, you know, taking on too much, delays. And so this is interesting because it's talking about in what areas can you aid me to help others. Wands to me can be very much the representation of creativity, of momentum, movement, inspiration. Now, with this being the 10 of Wands, which is typically a card that, you know, can be seen as more of like a harsh message, I think that this is kind of saying like it maybe allows you guys to kind of see that sometimes the messages may not always be super encouraging, if that makes sense, or can feel a little bit like you're taking on a little too much. And I think that that's kind of what it's saying here, is that maybe it's kind of showing like, hey, like, you know, you're taking on too much, you know, you have a lot going on. And so maybe like the cards kind of show me off in that way. And so I think that this is kind of saying like, maybe by understanding where I've taken on too much or done too much, it allows me to kind of help other people with this by, you know, my own personal experiences and things that I've gone through. So card number 4 is going to be, in what area could your guidance be easily misunderstood? So here we have the Ace of Wands reverse. So this is a card that typically talks about inspiration, doors opening, new beginnings, good news. This is hesitant, missed opportunities, wasted talent, potential, and infertility as well. So this is kind of saying that maybe, since this is, in what area could your guidance be easily misunderstood, is that maybe my own hesitancy to kind of see it for what it is and really diving a little bit deeper into it, because I've always treated this deck as just like an educational tool versus like a real deck that I read with, if that makes sense. Especially for myself, I have other tarot decks that I prefer to use in different areas of my life. I kind of have prefer to kind of reach for specific need or specific use. And so maybe this is kind of saying like, hey, I have not been using it as a tool for my own personal guidance. And so maybe that is something that's going on. There's a lot of wands here. So card number 5 is going to be, what can I do to keep our communication clear? And so here we have the King of Wands reverse. So this is kind of saying lies, deviousness, prejudice, a liar or devious person, one whose main focus is self-promotion. So what can I do to keep our communication clear is maybe I need to stop looking at it as not a tool to use in my arsenal. And so again, this deck always be calling me out. You see, it's like, you're a liar, like that's rude. But maybe it's just talking about not being quite so honest. And I'm going to tell you guys on some of these little like sample readings, I'm like, I don't want to tattle all on myself and put all my business out there. So, I think that this is maybe saying like, I need to not be so focused on what it would look like for me to kind of be very raw and real on some of these like sample readings and examples that I kind of put out for you guys. So card number 6 is going to be this one. And this is going to be, how can I use your guidance for the highest good? And so here, this is talking about patience. I look at the 8 of Pentacles as a card of like perfectionism. It is, you know, building business, self-employment, reputation, craftsmanship. And so maybe it's kind of talking about like the like mastering and hard work, the dedication, concentration, being confident in what I'm doing. Because I will say I'm still pretty new to YouTube. Even though I have been posting for quite some time, I still feel very green about what to post, how to post. And then I can definitely say that I have been a little bit discouraged, as I feel like I'll put a lot of effort into something and then it's like, no, nobody sees it. So it is one of these things where I kind of feel like I'm kind of speaking into a vacuum a lot of the time. So this is almost saying like, in order to use this guidance for my highest good is to just be patient, to just maybe put it out there, perfect, you know, like, basically get my trade right, like keep working on it, like, build it up and just let it be what it's going to be, if that makes sense. All right. And then finally, card 7. How will I know when we're ready for a new lesson? And so here we have the 4 of Swords reverse. This is about finding the mental strength, awakening, rejoining the world, coming out of isolation. So I think in a lot of ways, this is almost saying like, I need to stop hiding myself away, which is something I tend to do. I tend to be a pretty private person. And I've kind of struggled a little bit with like, should I do like forward facing content where I am on screen and kind of reading? I don't know how I feel about that. I much prefer this kind of way of doing it, but I was thinking of maybe even adding in maybe like an introduction where I'm like pulling the cards and then kind of flipping over to this view and see how that works out. I don't know. I've kind of considered it, but then again, it's like, do I really want to be forward facing and like the face of my channel? I don't know how I feel about that. So I think that this is almost saying like, hey, stop overthinking it. Just get out there and do it and stop, you know, making it all about yourself. So while this is a very, it's a longer spread and I could really dive into it a lot more. I think that this is a really nice, introduction into how to use a deck, like how a deck will speak to you. And again, you can do this for like any kind of deck. I mean, I could even do a quick oracle card example so you guys can kind of see what that will look like. Let me try to grab an oracle deck and then I'll show you guys what that would look like. All right, so here I have the Enchanted Earth Oracle. I haven't really messed with this deck, actually. I don't even know if it's super, what's it called? Like sorted through, shuffled. I was like, what is the word? Shuffled. So let's shuffle it a little bit and let's see how this would do. Now this is only a 36 card deck, so it's not a ton of cards. And I think maybe that's why I don't do super large deck interviews for decks that don't have as many cards. But let's see. All right, so let's see what this deck has to say. So what major lesson are you here to help me learn? Here we have fidelity, relationships, faithfulness, and reassurance. All right. Next to that, we have card number 2. Through which divine energy can we best communicate? We have cleanup, declutter, accountability, and home. I'm going to just put that there. Card number 3, in what area can you aid me to help others? We have divine timing, trust, and success. Card number 4, in what area could your guidance be easily misunderstood? We have sovereign, so courage, reclamation, and destiny. Card number 5 is what can I do to keep our communication clear? Fertile, indulgence, fertility, and abundance. That's interesting. I don't know how I would read that. For card number 6 is how can I use your guidance for the highest good? Is adventure, experiences, memories, and present moment. And then finally, it's a little covered there. There's a lot of bunnies here, and I have like a bunny skin over here. That's funny. How will I know when we're ready for a new lesson? It's illuminate honesty, transparency, and divine order. So again, pretty similar messages if we look at, whatever. So I guess with these decks are like, girl, just tell us the truth. Now, since this isn't a deck I would typically reach for, or a deck that I'm super familiar with, I would probably utilize the guidebook to kind of give me a little bit more clarity. So if I were to just do a quick sample reading, let's get to, what's that, fidelity? All right, so what major lesson are you here to help me learn? We have fidelity. That was card number 1. So this is talking about I effortlessly attract relationships that are trustworthy and supportive. So it talks about faithfulness, trustworthiness, and relationships, being a pillar of support for your loved ones, reliability and loyalty. It's, kind of showing you to like connect a little bit more to that energy. Card number 2 is cleanup. Oh, there it is. All right, so we have declutter. Oh, so through which divine energy can we best communicate? So this is about decluttering, accountability, home. I create space for abundance to flow effortlessly into my life. And so this is talking about having a cleanup in your life, both literally and figuratively. So cleaning my house, my living space, my workspace, decluttering. That's very funny. I have a ton of decks. I have a ton of stuff on my desk right now. It's actually pretty crazy. It's gotten a little chaotic and I'm like, I need to like clean. I literally have a little spider that has built a nest over my, like on my desk, and I don't want to disturb it, but I'm also like, oh, you're all like on a bunch of my books and some old decks that I have found that I was like, I need to do something with these. So I've been in this like phase of like, I need to get rid of some of this stuff because I just kind of feel like it's all weighing me down. So I think that this is almost saying like, hey, in order for you to like have more clarity, I need to kind of declutter a little bit. So I need to clean some stuff out. So, and that also is talking about like maybe looking at different areas of your life that may be contributing to different feelings and things like that. So card number 3 is going to be in what area can you guide me to help others? And so this is divine timing. I'm trying to find it. Where'd it go? I'm not finding it. Where'd it go? Okay. So divine timing, trust, success. I'm in harmony with the timing of my life. Everything comes to me exactly at the right time. So I think this is almost saying like in the right time, things will come together. Like stop stressing it so much. Like stop worrying about it so much. And card number 4 is right here. So this is going to be in what area could your guidance be easily misunderstood? And so this is going to be sovereign. In the face of fear, I reclaim control of my destiny. So this can maybe talk about, fear, issues with that, like having to kind of look at where fear has prevented you from taking a chance. And so maybe this is saying in what area could your guidance be easily misunderstood, is that maybe I don't always believe in my own kind of like sovereignty, which that is something I do tend to struggle with. Just to be very real here, it can be a little bit like, what am I doing with my life? Like what's going on? and just believe that like I am making the right choices. I am doing the right things. Card number 5 is what can I do to help our communication, to keep our communication clear. Here we have 19, which is fertile. I honor my worthiness of abundance and joy. So when I think of abundance and fertility and indulgence, it is something I tend to have a lot of guilt and shame about it. So I think that this is almost saying like I need to like be more indulgent about the messages I'm receiving and how I'm receiving them, to allow them to be abundant in the way, instead of looking at it as like, well, what may not work out or what isn't going to happen. And so this is kind of saying like it's a time to manifest your desires, say yes to yourself, you know, so maybe like doing some more of those practices so that things can flow to me much easier instead of feeling so clunky like they do at times. Now, card number 6 is going to be, how can I use your guidance for the highest good? And so here we have adventure, experiences, memories, present moment. This is 35. Let's go look. I always skip it. All right, so this is going to be, I'm creating a life filled with memories that will last a lifetime. So this is almost saying like maybe it's more about the experience and enjoying the trip, so to speak. And so not being so focused on what I have and being more like into what I'm doing, and to really savor the present moments to make it a very beautiful life for myself. And that is something that I have really been wanting to focus on. Now that I feel like things are finally moving in the direction of what I need, I can feel like a little bit more inclined to allow myself to enjoy things. So finally, card number 7 is going to be, how will I know when we're ready for a new lesson? This is illuminate. So let's go see. I shine brightly for all to see. So step boldly into the light and shine brightly for all to see. Like not hiding your special talents or skills, you know, really being honest about who you are, being transparent about things. So I think that while sometimes it can feel a little bit challenging using an oracle card deck that maybe has only like a couple of words, use the guidebook to kind of give you a little bit more clarity and kind of see how the deck wants to speak to you. So this obviously is a very like positive and encouraging sort of deck that's kind of telling you like, hey, just go for it. Like, let's get into it. Like, stop, you know, procrastinating or feeling afraid to kind of like be very present. A lot of the messages here are kind of saying like, be present, like show up, you know, don't forget like you're here for like the experience, and, you know, don't get distracted by things. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that this deck interview by Thomas of the Hermit's Mirror helps you in your own personal practice. Let me know what your favorite deck interview is down below. I have some that I had posted on my website several years ago that are just like 4-card ones that are quite simple, nothing complicated. And I may do one of those on here too, just because I know bigger spreads can be a little bit more intimidating for some people. But I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. Bye.